Ladies and gentlemen, we have breaking news in the Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively court case. A judge has ruled on the protective order. This is a big deal.
Who won? Well, I think it's a bit more complicated than that.
He made it very clear that some of the things that Blake was afraid of coming out in court were not things that Wayfarer was actively pursuing.
For years, Blake Lively has reigned as Hollywood royalty, a beacon of effortless charm, red carpet glamour, and seemingly perfect domesticity. Her image, meticulously crafted and universally admired, is that of the ultimate golden girl. But now, that carefully constructed facade is cracking under the pressure of a burgeoning scandal. Breaking news is ripping through the entertainment industry, sending shockwaves far beyond the usual celebrity gossip columns. A judge has rendered a crucial decision in the contentious legal battle against Justin Baldoni, and the implications are seismic. Whispers, then murmurs, and now outright shouts are circulating about leaked documents, explosive bribery allegations, and a desperate, almost frantic attempt by Lively to bury secrets so toxic they threaten to obliterate everything she's built. Has the radiant star, the darling of the paparazzi, and the envy of millions been harboring a hidden darkness all along? This unfolding legal drama is rapidly transforming into a full-blown Hollywood nightmare. A labyrinthine tale filled with unexpected twists, shocking turns, and accusations so audacious they defy belief.
We don't think we should have to present some of our text messages in discovery with our high-profile clients, that being Taylor Swift and whoever else. Some people say Bradley Cooper and whatever other friends of Blake Lively might get sucked into this.
They were not interested in publishing anything about her security, but did bring up that, you know what? Our addresses got leaked. So that's interesting.
The courtroom saga took an unforeseen and dramatically damaging turn, blindsiding not just Blake Lively and her legal team, but the entire watching world. It wasn't a straightforward legal victory, not a triumphant defense, but something far more insidious and reputation-shattering. Sources deeply embedded within the legal proceedings are now ablaze with talk of leaked bribery receipts, tangible documents, possibly emails, financial records, or even signed agreements, purportedly detailing illicit payments and secret deals. These aren't just rumors, they are alleged concrete proofs, whispered to have been leaked by individuals shockingly close to Lively, some even suggesting it was a calculated move from within her own legal camp. Picture the frantic scenes unfolding behind the scenes, a maelstrom of panic erupting as evidence, seemingly undeniable, of under-the-table transactions and hush money begins to circulate amongst lawyers, journalists, and industry insiders. Suddenly, the A-list actress, once synonymous with poise and perfection, is depicted as scrambling, almost desperately clawing, to contain a burgeoning scandal that threatens to not just dent, but completely incinerate her carefully curated public image and hard-earned career. The immediate question reverberating through Hollywood: how could a seemingly routine legal dispute devolve into such a spectacular and potentially career-ending catastrophe?
Justin Baldoni's side argued that they think that she shouldn't receive any preferential treatment because she's famous, and we need to see all this information. We'll redact it, we'll keep it from the public.
And, clearly Justice's side didn't care about the medical stuff or the security stuff. They agreed even in that call. That's not what this is about. What this became about was more of this sort of mid-ground issue.
But the burning question, the enigma at the heart of this unfolding drama remains. What specific information was Blake Lively so fiercely determined to suppress, so terrified of seeing the light of day? Observers present in the courtroom and privy to legal filings noted an almost palpable anxiety emanating from Lively and her representatives, particularly when discussions approached the sensitive topics of her private medical history and her intricate network of celebrity relationships. It became increasingly evident, according to insider accounts, that her legal strategy was single-mindedly focused on erecting an impenetrable wall around certain aspects of her personal life, shielding them from scrutiny at all costs. What shadowy truths, what potentially damaging revelations lurk beneath the shimmering surface of her glamorous Hollywood existence? Was she merely protecting her carefully constructed brand, or were there deeper, more personal secrets at stake? The intense nervousness surrounding these specific topics suggests a vault of hidden information, secrets perhaps far more volatile and damaging than anyone initially imagined, fueling intense speculation about the true nature of what Blake Lively was so desperately trying to keep concealed.
The public is entitled to see different court papers. Everything's supposed to be public, right? Freedom of Information Act are supposed to be public. But in certain cases like this,
which was these private details, sensitive, confidential information.
In a strategic maneuver seemingly ripped from the Hollywood playbook, Lively initially attempted to seize the narrative, casting herself as the aggrieved party, the victim unfairly targeted by Justin Baldoni. She embarked on a calculated campaign to portray herself as wronged and mistreated, painting a vivid picture of vulnerability and injustice. Her legal team, echoing this strategy, publicly promised a mountain of irrefutable evidence, receipts, and testimonies that would unequivocally validate her claims and expose Baldoni's alleged misconduct. The intention was clear: to sway public sentiment, to generate widespread sympathy, and to exert immense pressure on Baldoni, hoping to force him into submission and a swift settlement. However, this carefully orchestrated victim narrative soon began to falter, then crumble entirely under the harsh glare of legal scrutiny and public demand for substantiation. The promised mountain of evidence proved to be a mirage. When rigorously pressed for concrete proof to support her dramatic accusations, Lively's legal team repeatedly failed to deliver. Instead of presenting verifiable facts, they offered vague assertions, shifting accounts, and emotionally charged rhetoric. The victim card, once a potentially powerful weapon in the court of public opinion, was exposed as a flimsy bluff, a poorly executed tactic that ultimately backfired, eroding her credibility and fueling suspicions about the veracity of her entire case.
No one cares about that, right? We care about finding out, did he harass her or not?
The court has narrowed the provision to state that information may be marked AEO, attorney's eyes only if its disclosure is highly likely to cause significant business, commercial, financial, or privacy industry.
Central to Lively's initial claims was a supposedly horrifying dance scene, which she presented as a pivotal piece of evidence, a visual representation of her alleged discomfort and coercion on set. She positioned this scene as a smoking gun, irrefutable proof of Baldoni's inappropriate behavior and the uncomfortable situations she was forced to endure. But this strategy spectacularly imploded when the full, unedited video of the dance scene was leaked, swiftly circulating across the internet and social media platforms. What viewers witnessed was not distress, not discomfort, but rather a scene of apparent ease and even enjoyment. Lively was seen dancing with apparent freedom, laughing, and displaying body language that conveyed complete comfort and engagement. The radiant smile she flashed throughout the scene became a stark, undeniable contradiction to the somber narrative she had painted in court. The public reaction was immediate, visceral, and overwhelmingly negative towards Lively. Social media erupted with commentary, memes, and critical analyses of the video. "Hold on a minute," the collective sentiment seemed to declare. "This visual evidence directly contradicts her sworn testimony." The dance scene, intended to be her triumphant exhibit, her irrefutable proof, morphed into a devastating piece of counter-evidence, brutally exposing a calculated and easily disproven deception for the entire world to witness. It became a viral symbol of the crumbling foundation of her legal claims, a public relations catastrophe of monumental proportions.
Now, I got a lot of flack from some of the viewers because I'm saying, I don't think this is a massive win for Justin. I don't. I see this as a slight win for Blake.
All rise. The judge has ruled on Blake Lively's protective order. So Blake Lively was fighting to have a protective order put in place for attorneys' eyes only to protect items that may come up in discovery, presumably the Taylor Swift text messages.
Adding to the mounting perception of a case built on smoke and mirrors was the sheer absurdity of Lively's lawsuit document itself, a gargantuan 180-page behemoth. Instead of adhering to the conventions of a concise and legally sound argument, the document ballooned into an unwieldy tome overflowing with extraneous details, emotional appeals, and what seasoned legal experts dismissed as utter nonsense. The sheer volume, rather than conveying thoroughness, screamed of obfuscation. It appeared deliberately designed to overwhelm and distract, a smokescreen intended to conceal the conspicuous absence of genuine, substantive legal arguments and verifiable evidence. Judges and experienced lawyers, accustomed to dissecting legal documents for their core merits, swiftly recognized this tactic for what it was, a thinly veiled PR war masquerading as a legitimate legal battle. They perceived it as a cynical attempt to manipulate media headlines and sway public opinion through sheer volume and dramatic flair, rather than constructing a credible and legally defensible case. This tactic, so transparently geared towards public consumption rather than legal merit, further solidified the impression of a case fundamentally lacking in substance and driven by ulterior motives.
Now, I don't see this as a loss for Justin because ultimately they still have the right to fight it each time, but the burden is now on them.
And to be clear, Taylor Swift isn't the only high-profile celeb that's part of this. Hugh Jackman appears to be tied with all of this. We have Bradley Cooper, who Blake Lively thanked in the credits for It Ends With Us, seems to be involved in all of this.
As if the courtroom missteps and evidentiary failures weren't damaging enough, a new, even more explosive layer of scandal emerged, whispers, then increasingly louder pronouncements about a staggering $100 million offer. This astronomical sum, allegedly originating from sources closely aligned with Lively, was rumored to be a desperate attempt to purchase silence, to ensure certain potentially damaging documents remained buried and inaccessible. $100 million to make evidence vanish? This wasn't mere damage control, it reeked of a blatant, almost cartoonishly brazen attempt to bribe the problem into oblivion. This colossal figure, far exceeding any reasonable legal expenditure, ignited immediate and intense suspicion. What secrets, what potentially career-imploding revelations could be contained within those documents to justify such an extraordinary, almost unthinkable price tag for their suppression? The implication was inescapable. If the evidence truly bolstered her claims, if it genuinely exonerated her and incriminated Baldoni, why would she or someone acting on her behalf be willing to expend such a ludicrous sum to prevent its disclosure? The $100 million whisper transformed into a deafening roar of suspicion echoing through the opulent mansions of Beverly Hills and beyond, painting a stark picture of potential guilt and desperation, and even hinting at possible criminal implications associated with such a massive clandestine offer.
So there are a number of high-profile celebrities outside of Blake and Ryan Reynolds that will be dragged into this, and there may be some discovery that gets dragged up that is linked to that.
It seemed like she was very nervous about medical records being revealed, and it seemed very evident that her lawyers were instructed to ensure that her celebrity relationships, third party, all that stuff was off the table.
Amidst the swirling chaos of accusations, leaked videos, and exorbitant hush money rumors, a figure of unwavering integrity and legal fortitude emerged as a counterpoint to the Hollywood spectacle, Judge Lyman. In a series of decisive rulings and pointed pronouncements, Judge Lyman firmly established a crucial principle. In his courtroom, celebrity status confers absolutely no special privileges, no exemptions from the rule of law. He made it unequivocally clear that transparency and due process would be the guiding principles, and that any attempts, regardless of the wealth or fame of the parties involved, to manipulate the legal system or circumvent established procedures would be met with resolute resistance. He demonstrably saw through the elaborate smokescreens, the meticulously crafted PR stunts, and the clumsy attempts to distort and suppress the truth. Judge Lyman's unwavering commitment to fairness, impartiality, and the unyielding application of the law became a critical turning point in the case. He repeatedly rebuffed attempts to shield evidence under the guise of celebrity privacy and demanded a level playing field for both parties. His firm stance served as a bracing reminder that even within the often insulated world of Hollywood, certain fundamental principles of justice remain inviolable, and that even the brightest stars cannot outshine the enduring light of the legal system when it is administered with integrity and resolve.
Now, the judge has ruled and does agree that high-profile third parties that are not involved directly in the lawsuit, they are entitled to some privacy.
So they go through all of that information. With respect to the confidential or attorney's eyes only portion of any discovery material,
meaning that it'll have to be kept confidential and that certain information can only be shared with just the attorneys, not the clients, and most certainly won't be leaking in the public.
The scandal surrounding Blake Lively isn't contained to just her courtroom battles. It's rapidly expanding, ensnaring other prominent figures in its widening web. Chief among them is her husband, Ryan Reynolds. Whispers from inside circles suggest Reynolds is deeply involved behind the scenes, orchestrating damage control, strategizing legal responses, and crucially, attempting to shield his own carefully cultivated public image from the fallout. For years, Reynolds has enjoyed an almost Teflon-like reputation as the affable, witty, and universally beloved nice guy of Hollywood. But this scandal threatens to tarnish that image, casting a long shadow over his seemingly unblemished persona. The public is beginning to question his potential involvement, wondering to what extent he was aware of, or even complicit in, Lively's alleged manipulations and payoffs. Adding further fuel to the fire is the persistent rumor mill surrounding text messages exchanged between Lively and Taylor Swift. These messages, the subject of intense legal wrangling and protective orders, are perceived as a potential treasure trove of damaging information. The burning question is, why are these texts considered so sensitive, so potentially ruinous? Speculation ranges from theories that they might reveal coordinated efforts to manipulate media narratives to admissions of pressure tactics used against Baldoni, or even boastful accounts of attempts to circumvent the legal system. Whatever their content, the sheer desperation to keep them hidden speaks volumes, suggesting they hold keys to even deeper layers of the unfolding scandal. Furthermore, the transcript mentions other high-profile celebrities like Hugh Jackman and Bradley Cooper being tangentially linked to the case, hinting at a potentially wider network of individuals and relationships intertwined with Lively's actions. The fear of exposure, the potential for further revelations to implicate other famous names is palpable within Hollywood, as the ripple effects of this scandal threaten to spread far beyond Blake Lively herself, potentially dragging down other A-listers in its wake.
Therefore, any of their information may likely be deemed attorney's eyes only.
It felt almost like nervously so from her team of how much that clearly was the most important thing for them.
If there's anything that is directly related to the lawsuits or related to the claims made by either party, that can be brought up in discovery and that can be shared with the clients and may possibly be leaked.
I don't know how much is going to come through in the transcript that can be read now, but audibly, because we were able to call in to that hearing and listen to it, there did seem to be a lot of stress and a lot of tension, particularly when it came to those points.
Blake Lively's unfolding Hollywood nightmare is more than just a celebrity scandal, it's becoming a stark object lesson, a cautionary tale with profound implications for the entertainment industry and the culture of celebrity itself. This saga is forcing a reckoning, a critical examination of the often blurred lines of accountability in a world where fame and fortune often seem to offer immunity. The potential long-term consequences for Lively are devastating. Irreparable damage to her carefully constructed brand, a permanent stain on her professional reputation, and a profound erosion of public trust. This case underscores the brutal reality that in the age of instant information and relentless scrutiny, lies and manipulations, particularly when perpetrated on such a grand scale, are exceedingly difficult to contain and virtually impossible to erase. Celebrity status, once perceived as a shield against consequences, can in fact become an amplifier of downfall when a star is caught in egregious dishonesty. The intense media attention, the widespread public condemnation, and the unwavering scrutiny of the legal system are all magnified precisely because of her fame, not in spite of it. Significantly, this scandal reveals a subtle but crucial shift in the media landscape. Journalists, traditionally eager to capitalize on celebrity drama, have shown a surprising degree of skepticism towards Lively's narrative, with reports surfacing that reputable outlets refuse to publish unsubstantiated claims from her camp, signaling a potential new era of media accountability even within the sensationalized world of Hollywood gossip. Judge Lyman, in his unwavering commitment to impartiality and transparency, emerges as a symbol of resistance against celebrity influence and a champion of the principle that justice should be blind, irrespective of fame or fortune. The ultimate takeaway from Blake Lively's spectacular fall from grace is a resounding affirmation. In the end, even in the dazzling, often illusionary world of Hollywood, truth, however painstakingly unearthed, will ultimately prevail. Whether she chooses to settle, attempting to buy her way out of further public humiliation, or whether this case proceeds to a full trial exposing every detail of her alleged deceptions, one outcome is increasingly clear. Blake Lively has orchestrated her own undoing, and the price of her lies may well be the irreversible ruin of the career she once so meticulously cultivated.
Given what we're looking at and what's happening and the backlash and everything else, I can't imagine Blake's celebrity friends are happy that it's gotten to this point.
The judge was calling both of them out. He was attempting to keep things being neutral, but there were definitely moments where Brian's arguments felt stronger than the other side.
As new articles come out sort of weaponizing the political ideologies that might be trying to dismantle beliefs involved in this case.
He made it very clear that some of the things that Blake was afraid of coming out in court were not things that Wayfarer was actively pursuing.
The judge heard the arguments. I felt Friedman made the better case.
And so, as the dust begins to settle, the inescapable question reverberates throughout Hollywood and beyond: can Blake Lively's once stellar career possibly weather this self-inflicted cataclysm? The reported defection of her high-powered PR firm, a strategic withdrawal from the very professionals tasked with managing her image, is widely interpreted as a death knell in the image-obsessed entertainment industry, a chilling signal that even the most skilled spin doctors deem her situation unsalvageable. Meanwhile, Ryan Reynolds, her equally famous husband, is reportedly engaged in frantic damage control behind the scenes, desperately attempting to salvage what remains of their collective public image, even as Taylor Swift's name becomes increasingly entangled in the spreading vortex of scandal thanks to the contentious text messages. From demonstrably fabricated evidence and manipulated narratives to increasingly credible allegations of bribery and attempts to obstruct justice, the cascading accusations paint a damning portrait of a star desperately, and perhaps disastrously, attempting to control a narrative that has spiraled completely beyond her grasp. Will she ultimately opt for a costly settlement, attempting to bury the most damaging truths beneath a mountain of cash in a last-ditch effort to salvage some semblance of her reputation? Or will this legal battle escalate to a full-blown trial, a public spectacle that would irrevocably expose every lie, every manipulation, and every desperate maneuver for the world to scrutinize? One stark reality is now undeniable. Blake Lively's once pristine golden image is irrevocably tarnished, possibly damaged beyond any hope of repair. This is the unfolding and potentially terminal downfall of a Hollywood star, a stark and cautionary tale of the corrosive power of unchecked fame, the seductive allure of lies, and the inevitable day of reckoning when the truth, however stubbornly resisted, finally and decisively catches up. The final curtain has yet to fall on this unfolding drama, but the long-term consequences for Blake Lively, both professionally and personally, are poised to be profound and enduring.